So imagine this, you're 6 years old again, you just got home from school, you jump on the couch, and Curious George is playing on the TV. I imagine this nostalgia trip appeals to many people, including myself, and I think there's a pretty good reason for that. Curious George, the animated series, which ran from 2006 and is still going many years later, is a great show with awesome characters, a wholesome vibe, and great animation. But what happened to the show? Did it die off like many shows we've seen before, or does it still hold up to this day? Well, shalom ladies and jellyfish, welcome back to A.S.K, as today I'll be answering these questions and taking a trip down nostalgia lane to see what the hell happened to Curious George. So before we can even get to this show, we gotta do a little history lesson. Curious George was a series of children's stories written by husband and wife Margaret and Hans Augusto Ray, a Jewish couple who fled Paris hours before Nazi occupation in 1940, on self-made bicycles carrying the Curious George manuscript with them. They eventually made their way to the United States in search of a safer haven for their humble passion project. The books were a huge success, depicting an African monkey taken to America, specifically Ohio, by a man in a yellow hat, and their misadventures along the way. This inquisitive monkey was, of course, George. No, not that George. No, not that one either. No. Yes! Oh, you skipped it. Yeah, that George. Gee, must have taken a while to come up with that one, but at least it's catchy. Later, Curious George got adapted into an 80s animated series on Nickelodeon, and after 2 decades got the big screen treatment with an awesome traditionally animated and CGI hybrid movie, which came out in 2006. The movie itself is awesome. The beautiful animation, the stellar voice acting, starring Will Ferrell, Drew Barrymore, and the greatest actor to ever live, David Cross. Looks like this one wasn't quite as much of a chipwreck as some of his other works. The movie also has a great story and witty dialogue. While only succeeding mildly at the box office, its wholesome presence made it an undeniable contender for yet another animated series. This new show aired on PBS Kids, which also has many shows I've reviewed before, like Wildcrats. The new show had amazing animation, slick, colorful, beautiful backgrounds. It had an awesome soundtrack that added tones and moods that enhanced the show's quality, and it was overall one of the most chill, wholesome shows out there, that didn't depend on hyperbolic stories or dramatic twists to keep you engaged. It was just heartwarming and cute to watch, and it was okay for most kids. The characters were all likable, including the man in the yellow hat, or as he's later known, Ted, who I like to describe as a mix between the professor from the Powerpuff Girls and the original April O'Neil, with a bit of Doug Dimmadome in there for good measure.
That's right, Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome.
And as for George, he's just insanely cute and likable as well, although I can't say the same for his lack of tail. Is he a monkey or not, guys? This is like Squidward having 6 legs even though he's an octopus. They never get this crap right, do they? Was his tail snipped off at birth? Am I suddenly a monkey too now since I have no tail? There, that's what you guys wanted, right? You people are all sick.
Because you're a monkey.
Yeah, I know. Also, was that the Mario sound effect? Anyway, remember how I said the animation looks really good? Sweet Lord above, what is that? I'll destroy you, you son of— This show also has some other characters we see occasionally, like some scientists, including, Mr. Einstein? I mean, it kinda makes sense. His immigration story sounds awfully similar to the authors of these books. There's also another French cook who looks just like Monsieur Heatmiser from the Wildcrats. Guys, at this point, it's just a weird stereotype. As far as the stories in this show go, most are pretty simple, with a larger focus on the characters and their dynamics, especially between George and the Yellow Hat Man. It's all pretty lighthearted and camaraderie focused, which has kept Curious George in the air for decades. The voice of George from the '06 film, Frank Welker, returns for this series, and I gotta say, I did not realize how many freaking animals this guy can voice. He voiced Totoro in the English dub of the film, he voiced the monkeys and elephants in Aladdin, he voiced the penguins in the critically acclaimed cult classic Mr. Popper's Penguins, and even voiced Garfield. But I mean, he still has nothing on the A.S.K monkey impression. Jeff Bennett comes to replace Will Ferrell as Ted, and he's got quite the resume as well, voicing Kowalski, one of the penguins of Madagascar, not to mention voicing cats and dogs, the revenge of Kitty galore, a true rival to Citizen Kane in terms of cinematic prowess. I mean, while we talk about movies, I think it's fair to point out that the '06 Curious George movie got 5 freaking sequels, the newest of which coming out in 2020, and I'll be honest, I couldn't be bothered to watch any of these, but I mean, how good can they really be? Aside from all this, the show ran for 9 long seasons on PBS Kids, until being cancelled in 2015, and later revived in 2018, where it aired on Family Junior and later Peacock to this day. So far, we have a whopping total of 389 individual episode segments, which is pretty impressive for a story started out by 2 fleeing lovers in seek of a safe haven for their little passion project. I think such a wholesome and beautiful show, full of so much magic and curiosity, can only come from a backstory equally as magical and inquisitive. And that's why Curious George will remain a fantastic nostalgic kids show for hopefully many years to come. I didn't know how to properly end this video, so let me just read this funny Reddit post I found about this show. This is from r/rant, so you know it's gotta be good. I just don't get the Curious George cartoon. It makes no sense in so many areas, and I just can't take it seriously. You start with this monkey that has the intellect of a 5-year-old. It is often allowed to do whatever and go wherever he pleases with no adult supervision. He will often cause hundreds or thousands of dollars in damage with no punishment or repercussions. Dude, it's a show made for little kids. You want George to get a misdemeanor DUI every episode? Oh, I must have missed the episode where George goes on a fentanyl-induced murder spree and shoots the Yellow Hat Man in the kneecaps. And he speaks in grunts, yet for some reason people understand him. Bro, so does Mr. Bean. You want George to break out into Romanian all of a sudden? He's a monkey. And you have the guy with the yellow hat. Seriously, a yellow hat? Why? Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like and let me know anything and everything you think about Curious George. Any nostalgic memories you'd like to share? What experiences do you have with this show? Be sure to let me know all that in the comments down below, and be sure to like and subscribe to support me going forward. And thank you so much for all your support on my Wildcards video. Be sure to check it out if you haven't yet. The Twitter and Discord are links below. And with all that said, shalom everybody.